Dizzy Dreamer ASMR. Hello, my name is Dizzy Dreamer ASMR. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing every movie that I've watched so far in 2024 in 30 seconds or less per movie, give or take 10 to 15 seconds. So as I've said in previous videos, I've been very busy this year so far and I haven't had the chance to watch all of the movies that I would have liked to, but this makes the video a little bit easier to tackle and a little bit shorter. So let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my ratings in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your views and opinions on them. And just keep in mind that movie opinions are very subjective, so there's not one objective rating here. And this is all just for fun in the end. At the end of this video, I'll be giving out my very first awards for best and worst movies of the year. So stay tuned for that. Let's get straight into it. Anyone But You. I watched this movie with my boyfriend and it took us 3 different days to get through because we couldn't stop cringing at how Sydney Sweeney's character made everything about herself. We kept yelling at the TV because we were so uncomfortable. We were yelling at her to smarten up, but we still had a great time watching it, because at the end of the day, it's a lovers to enemies to lovers trope, and it stars 2 painfully attractive actors. It takes place in Australia, and it did give the feeling that it was just a very long advertisement for Australian tourism, but it was fun, but I would not care to watch it again. 2.5 stars. Mean Girls, the musical, the movie. I watched this with Mean Girls, the musical, the movie. I watched this with my sister in theaters and we had a freaking blast. It was so bad, but so good at the same time. Someone told me that if I went into it knowing that it took from the original but was mainly its own thing with the musical, I would appreciate it more. And you know what? I really did. The actors are fantastic, and I'm going to start a Renee Rapp fan club very soon because she is incredible. Inquiry Rice was the wrong casting choice for Caddy, but Busy Phillips and Renee Rapp playing mother and daughter was written in the stars like it was meant to be. And I got a free poster for watching it in theaters, so that was pretty cool. Overall, 3.5 stars. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So this is the second installment in the series. I've read the books, and the books are much better than the movies. But I watched this one while I was sick, and it's so comforting. It's so iconic. The first 30 minutes of the movie are a whirlwind, with meeting Dobby and then the flying pudding and then rescuing Harry with the flying car. But this movie also has that spider scene with Aragog, which is disgusting, so that takes off 1 star, so 4 stars. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I also watched this one while I was sick this year, and I don't know why I skipped the 3rd one, because Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite, but hey, I was sick, so I clearly was not in my right mind. This is an incredible movie. Easily my second favorite in the series. The Triwizard Tournament is insane, and Robert Pattinson is in this one. Like, are you kidding me? And he dies. Crazy. The whole storyline with Professor Moody is literally wackadoodle. And it's just so good. Like, all the plot twists are amazing. So, 4.5 stars. Ted, another movie I watched with my partner, as it was one of his favorite movies. It just didn't speak to me. Like, I watch Family Guy, so I'm familiar with Seth MacFarlane's humor. But Mark Wahlberg's character with Ted is just so fundamentally unlikable and obnoxious that I wasn't even rooting for him in this movie. It was very, like, I don't care about you. So, I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh, though. So, 2 stars. The Shining. I saw this movie when it was released in theaters for its anniversary this year, and I'd originally seen it when I was, I think, 14. And I was instantly hooked. It became an obsession of mine. I watched it at least once a week for like 2 years. And when I got into reading novels, Stephen King became my preferred author. And I read The Shining, and my mind was blown at how different it was from the movie. And that's was sorely let down. The whimsy they create feels forced, and it all takes place in this one town, so it feels kind of oppressive and restrained, and there's no like open sets to my recollection. And Hugh Grant's portrayal of an Oompa Loompa literally haunted me when I was trying to fall asleep that night. I'm sorry, but Deep Roy is my Oompa Loompa, not Hugh Grant. I will not stand for this Deep Roy erasure. Anyways, 1.5 stars. The Pope's Exorcist. Russell Crowe is the one redeeming factor of this movie, because without him it would have fallen apart. His costuming, his accent, his little Vespa. It's perfect. It's a scary movie, but he makes it more lighthearted, if that makes sense. But as far as a scary movie goes, it started out pretty promising. But it kind of fell away halfway into the movie when the kid gets possessed and then starts yelling profanities about his mother's breasts. Anyways, it was more funny than it was scary. 2.5 stars. John Krasinski's If Imaginary Friend. I was looking forward to watching this movie, but really it was more depressing than I think it was inspiring. The plot twist at the end, I think, redeemed the movie and made it make more sense, although your imaginary friend being a clown is low-key really scary, and that's coming from someone who isn't afraid of clowns. I also kind of felt like John Krasinski's character didn't really need to be in this movie, and his dialogue was super cringe. The theme of growing up and moving out of childhood is very topical for this day and age, but it just felt unfinished. 2.5 stars. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. This movie is an instant classic. I watched this last year with my mother in theaters, and I rewatched it this year with my sister and my mother, and I will continue the tradition of watching it every year. The magic of girlhood is alive and well, and this movie just knocks it out of the park. It also highlights just how universal the experience of girlhood is as it traverses, religions, and it's set in the 70s and is still totally relatable today. So if you are a woman, or you have a daughter, or a girlfriend, or a wife that loves being a girl, please suggest this movie to them, or watch it with them. It's so good. 5 stars. Boy, if you like plot twists, this is the movie for you. That would be the tagline for this movie. It's as if writers sat down and said, okay, we have our ideas for plot twists, now we have to write the actual plot. It's a star-studded cast. It's a fun watch, but it's nothing more than that, in my opinion. There's a cat in it, though, and the cat plays a pretty big role, so I think it automatically gets 2 points for that. So, like I said, 2 stars. Despicable Me 4. This is a solid movie. There could have been more minion shenanigans, in my opinion, but it was still a very solid movie. It was lacking a certain umph that the first and second movies had. I don't remember watching the third, so I can't speak to the third, but it was still really fun, though, and the ending made the movie, and it was a great way to end the franchise, I think. So, 3 stars. Spider-Man 2. Absolutely amazing movie, but so frustrating, because the whole time you're screaming at Peter to just kiss Mary Jane, and it's literally infuriating because he gets in his own way. And yes, I understand, with great power comes great responsibility, and considering the ethical dilemmas that come with being a targeted superhero and yada yada yada, but my dude, she's right there, just kiss her. 4.5 stars. Iron Claw. So this movie, guys, this was probably one of my new favorite movies, and it's going to be a long time until I build up the courage to watch it again. Though we know that it's not entirely completely accurate, it made me feel something very deeply. It moved me. It showed me the importance of brotherhood, even though I am brotherless. If you're a wrestling fan and you like biopics, please watch this one. Give it a chance. This easily should have won an Oscar nomination for Zac Efron. So this movie is absolutely 5 stars for me. Irish Wish. If you had a chance to change your fate, would you? Did you like my accent there? Thanks. This is a cute little rom-com Hallmark movie that was not once in the spring or in the summer, and then in the fall before Halloween, sometimes on Halloween as well. This movie is chef's kiss from beginning to end. One story that has stuck with me for a very, very long time. So, and the imagery, and I can quote it like almost word for word at this point. If you want to know some of the theories about this movie, I posted a video on it a while ago, so I can also link this one down below. Anyways, 5 stars. Very good. Deadpool and Wolverine. I just saw this today. It was fantastic. The plot honestly felt a little meh, but the chemistry between the actors is undeniable. I had so many belly laugh moments, and all the different Easter eggs and cameos really made it a great movie, and the dialogue is automatically an A+. Our entire theater was belly laughing and cracking up. It was so good. I won't spoil anything for this one, but you go watch it for sure if you're a fan of Deadpool movies. 4 stars. Ordinary Angels. Okay, we watched this one on Mother's Day, and it was really touching. It was based on a true story, so it was really heartwarming to watch real footage of the community after, they band together to help the plane land. I think Hilary Swank did a great job as the main character, and she really made the movie. But this did not have to be a 2-hour movie. This could have been a good hour and 15-minute movie, and having it run shorter would have saved it, in my opinion. Great story still, but way too long. 2.5 stars. Shrek 2. I added this letterbox review because that's literally how I feel about this movie. Everything about it is so good. The puns are hilarious. The voice acting is great. I quote this movie on a daily basis. It's probably my favorite animated movie ever, not including Coraline, which is claymation. And I would give my left arm to be able to watch this again for the first time. 5 stars. The Devil Wears Prada. Late Night with the Devil. This is a solid horror film with religious overtones, as the title may suggest. Not even overtones, it's just blatantly religious themed. It also speaks to the corruption of Hollywood and the extent to which some would go to achieve fame and fortune. I feel like this would have been an A+ short film or short story, but overall I could see this becoming a cult classic in a few years. 3.5 stars. Ricky Stanicky. John Cena steals this whole movie, and I'm okay with that. I unironically sing his song remixes in my head throughout the day. The concept for this film was actually super interesting, and I feel like they had the opportunity to make it a lot better than it turned out. But again, this is another movie that I'd be lying if I said I didn't have fun. Also, John H. Macy is in this, and I think he's an amazing actor, so that bumped up the rating too. Overall, 2 stars. The Garfield Movie. I feel like this movie would have been much more enjoyable if, number 1, Chris Pratt didn't voice Garfield, and number 2, there weren't so many blatant advertisements. It was so off-putting. The story was fun, but back in the day, this would have 100% been a DVD release. Speaking of DVDs, I had the Garfield the movie on DVD, and I watched it all the time when I was younger. Now that is a good Garfield movie. This one, 2.5 stars. The Color Purple. This movie had it all. Beautiful singing, acting, dancing, the storyline, the costuming, the sets. It was a great movie. I didn't particularly enjoy every single song and dance number, but their talent shined through that, and I hope Danielle Brooks got nominated for her role because she was a powerhouse in this. I would absolutely watch this movie again, and it makes me want to watch the original with, I think Oprah was in that one. Anyways, this was a 4.5 stars. Tarzan, a 90s Disney classic. We had this one on VHS growing up. Hot take, but this movie would have been very mediocre without the banger soundtrack. Phil Collins put his entire soul into the soundtrack. You'll Be in My Heart is still one of the best songs to come out of a Disney movie, like, ever. So, 3 stars. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I think this movie is what ignited my passion for history at message. They made it accessible and unintimidating, and it's also wildly and completely historically inaccurate down to the tiniest details. But I mean, you get Joan of Arc leading an exercise class in a mall, so it kind of makes up for it. Also, Socrates and Billy the Kid's friendship was so wholesome. Great movie. 4.5 stars. Twisters. I just recently watched this movie in theaters, and I was apprehensive about it. I thought it might be a remake of the first, and I wasn't super looking forward to that if that would have been the case, but it's its own thing, and it's also an homage to it at the same time. I very much enjoyed that. Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones were phenomenal leads, and they're definitely the right casting choices, and I was on the edge of my seat for the whole movie. Although there were no cows. So that is a point deduction. Where's the cows? We got cows. Where are they? 4 stars. Tangled. I remember when this movie first came out, I had no interest in seeing it, but over the years, I watched it multiple times with my friends, and it's a very, very good movie. The songs are catchy, the animation is beautiful, the colors are visually appealing. The colors are visually appealing, and the animation is lively and exciting. And I read that they asked a group of women to consult with the animators as to what Flynn Rider should look like, so kudos to them for that. It still isn't my favorite Disney princess movie, but it's a fantastic movie nonetheless. 4 stars. Inside Out 2. This movie exceeded my expectations and made me reflect on my own struggles growing up and battling with anxiety. That being said, it was a freaking emotional roller coaster watching this. We laughed, we cried. It was a great sequel to the first movie, and ennui is my favorite emotion. 4 stars. Last but not least, we have Fly Me to the Moon. I thought this was a super cute movie. One review said that if this was released in the 80s or 90s, it would have been a classic by now, and I agree. It's about half an hour too long, and there are a bit too many competing storylines to call it cohesive per se, but I really enjoyed watching this. And another movie that a cat plays a large role in, and it also features an enemies to lovers trope, that everyone loves. So this one is 3 stars. Now for the moment that we've Sweet